Today we'll be talking about the coordinate plane and plotting points within the coordinate plane. Okay, so by the end of this video, you should be able to label the origin, the x-axis, and the y-axis, identify the quadrants within the coordinate plane, and be able to graph a point within that plane. Okay, first we're going to talk about the parts of the coordinate plane. Okay, the first two things we're going to talk about are the axes and the origin. Okay, first, the axes are these perpendicular lines. So x-axis is this horizontal line that goes through the center there, and the y-axis is the vertical line that goes through the center. And the origin is the point where those two lines intersect. Okay, that is called the origin. And these things are very important when we get into plotting points and eventually lines and lots of other fun things. Okay, now within this coordinate plane, the x and y axis break this plane up into 4 different quadrants. Okay, so you can see here that quadrant 1 is here in the top right corner. Okay, and we're going to talk about the type of numbers that occur in that quadrant in just a minute, but that is quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is here, top left corner. Quadrant 3 is bottom left corner, and quadrant 4 is the bottom right corner. Okay, and you can also see that this is follows a C shape here. Okay, so that can help you remember 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now plotting coordinates in these planes. Okay, we are coordinates are given to you in this parentheses where the x-axis number is given first and the y-axis number is given second. Okay, so we'll take a look at exactly what this looks like when you're plotting, but just so you know, a coordinate is the pair of numbers indicating a specific spot. So 0, 0 is that origin that we talked about where the x value is 0 and the y value is 0. Okay, now this point I've plotted here, the x value is 2 and the y value is 3. So that's where those points come from. Okay, now how do we make a coordinate? So let's talk about it. All right, in our quadrants, okay, that we just talked about, quadrant 1 has positive numbers. Okay, what that means is my x-axis is labeled with the 0 here in the middle. Okay, and then we have our positive numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the right-hand side, just like a number line. Okay, and then we have our negative numbers on the left-hand side, just like a number line. -4 and -5. All right, so that's your x-axis. Now your y-axis does the same thing. It's just a vertical number line. So that means my positive numbers are above the 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And my negative numbers are below the 0. Okay, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Okay, so when we're plotting these points, we start at 0, 0. Always start at the origin. Okay, and then whatever value they give you for x, you go to that spot on your x-axis. In this particular case, they gave me 2 as my x-axis. So we went 1, 2 in the positive direction on the x-axis because it's a positive 2. Then from that spot, you move y units vertically. In this case, my y is 3, so I went up 1, 2, 3. And that got me right where that point is. Okay, so you just hover over that spot and go up. So you can see that it lines up with the 3 on the y-axis. Okay, so 2 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis, and we plot the point where those two would intersect. okay? And we're going to try a couple of these. All right, let's do this first one together. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a second and try that on your own, okay? Once you've got that, you can restart the video and we will do this together. So +3, so my x value is 3, my y value is 4. You can remember that because x comes before y in the alphabet, okay? X, Y, Z, right? So x comes first. So we start at 0, 0 always, and we go to +3 on my number line, and then we go up 4 because it's positive, okay? And my point would be right here, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to try another one. This one has a negative number. Okay, we still start at 0, 0. Okay, if you want to pause this video and try it on your own, you definitely can do that. Okay, we go -4 because my x is -4. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 in the negative direction. And then I'm going 5 in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this point here ends up in quadrant 2, which is my negative positive quadrant. Okay, this is quadrant 2, and it is negative positive numbers. Okay, you'll see there are negative numbers on the x-axis, positive numbers on the y-axis. So those are the types of numbers that end up in quadrant 2. Okay, you can try this one on your own for a second. All right, we have +2. So again, starting at 0, 0, we go +2 on my x, -3 on my y, and we end up right here. Okay, again in quadrant 4 because we went positive on my x, negative on my y. So this is +, -2, -3. -4, +4. So again, we're going to end up in that quadrant 2 because I have negative and positive. I'm going to end up right here. -4, +4. Negative direction on the x, positive on the y. 1, -5, +1. -5 ends up right here. Okay, so that is how we plot points in the coordinate plane and a little bit about